over the course of my time on stages and performing and just being around keyboards and keyboardists, I have seen some very large keyboard rigs. I've seen some just as small as a keyboard. I've seen some as small as a keyboard and a sound module. I've seen people that have had, you know, combinations of 2 or 3 sound modules and 3 or 4 keyboards. But could you imagine between every single song having to put your hand on each one of those modules and each one of those keyboards in order to change to the next sound for as you go through your set for that night? Man, that would be a pain, and it would also take a lot of time. Imagine being able to just turn one knob or make one adjustment and it change every sound in every one of your keyboards or every module in your rig to the sound for the next song, just by making one change. Well, you can definitely do it, and today I'll show you how. Let's go. Alright, so you're probably thinking, you mean to tell me that all this time I've been using my keyboard and my keyboard rig, and I have been going to the cursor and the screen on each one of the keyboards to change from one sound to the next? You're saying that I could have been doing it the whole time with one parameter change? Yes, the answer is yes. So the Midi protocol allows for a lot of things as far as keyboards and Midi devices communicating between each other. But within the Midi protocol, there is a parameter called program and bank change. And it is done using, I guess what you could call it like a phone number for a keyboard. But it's just the MSB, which means the most significant byte, and the LSB, which means what? The least significant byte. And what it does is it sends information on a specific MIDI channel to a keyboard or to a module, telling it what program and what bank you want it to select a sound from. So basically each keyboard or each module has its own MSB and LSB numbers that you need to find, and then once you put that into your keyboard, you can use your master keyboard to change sounds on that keyboard or on that module. So the first thing you have to do, you need to find your MSB and LSB numbers for whatever keyboard you're using. And so today in my demonstration, or today in my tutorial, I am using the Korg Nautilus as the master keyboard. So we're going to be sending information from this keyboard to select patch changes in another keyboard. And for that other keyboard, I have a lot of different ones that I could pick from, but today we're going to be using my old trusty Korg M3. So I'm going to be sending program and bank changes from my Korg Nautilus to my Korg M3. And no, the keyboards don't have to be the same brand. They don't have to be the same model. You can do this between, you can mix and match between whatever brand keyboard or whatever model keyboards or modules that you want to use. You can do that. So the first thing I had to do was I had to find the MSB and LSB numbers for my Korg M3. So I just did a quick Google search for MSB and LSB for the Korg M3. All right, so the MSB and LSB numbers for the Korg M3, depending on what bank and what program you're trying to select, you're going to put the numbers 0 in for the MSB and the numbers 0 in for the LSB. But you may be asking, Julius, where do I put those numbers in? And I'm going to show you. So on your Kronos, this also works for the Kronos, but we're doing it on the Nautilus. So on your Nautilus, what you're going to do, you're going to go into combination mode. So I'm going to go to I'm going to go to mode, I'm going to go to combination, and I'm going to select a blank combi. All right. So within this combi, you see here, it's a blank space. What we want to go to is we're going to go to page, and we're going to go to timbre parameter. All right, so in this screen here, this is where you can select whether you're triggering information or triggering notes from the internal engine and your keyboard and your Nautilus, or you're triggering information from an external keyboard, or whether you're sending information to an external keyboard. So in order for this MSB LSB thing to work, the first thing you got to do is right here where it says INT, you're going to select EXT2. Now that is going, the EXT2 allows you to send MIDI information to an external keyboard. It's not sending sound information, but it's sending, this is where we're going to be able to send program changes and bank changes to an external keyboard or module. So it has to be EXT2. If you select EXT1 or EXT, the plain one, just EXT, it won't work. If you select INT, that is triggering information when you push the keys on the internal sound engine on the keyboard. The EXT is going to send MIDI information externally, MIDI information from you pushing the keys. So again, I'm going to say that one more time to make sure it makes sense. The INT, if a sound is on the INT option, that is how you trigger information or trigger notes in the keyboard from the keys pressed on the Nautilus. Okay? So INT means I'm pushing keys and I'm triggering sounds internally on the Nautilus. If I go to EXT1, that is, I'm pushing the keys and it is not sending information on that channel to the Nautilus. It is sending the key presses, the MIDI information to an external keyboard or module. But if we push EXT2, that is what allows us to change the MSB and LSB number. So you see, if you have it on INT, the MSB and LSB here are these, this row here, they're blank. If you put it on EXT, you can't push it, it's grayed out. But if you go to EXT2, now they're able to be chosen. So what you want to do is you want to go to the MSB number and you're going to type in the MSB number for your keyboard. So like I said, for the Korg M3, the MSB number is 0 and the LSB number for internal bank A is going to be 0 as well. So it's going to be 0, 0. Now for the M3, the numbers go all the way from 0 to 13, and that chooses every bank between internal bank A all the way through internal bank G up to user bank A through user bank G. So that information is online and you can find it for any one of your keyboards. It's probably in the MIDI implementation chart for your keyboard or your module. But for the Korg M3, the MSB and LSB numbers are 0, 0 through 0, 13. Okay, so another very important thing is the Nautilus and Kronos, the Korg series boards. These boards cannot send program change and bank change information on the global MIDI channel. So whatever your global MIDI channel is, the global MIDI channel is like, to me, it's like, I've always tried to explain it or I'll say understood it to say that the keyboard is sending information on, it's like it's sending information on multiple channels at one time, but really it's just a global channel, so you can access multiple channels within the keyboard all at one time. So the default global MIDI channel is 1. So if your keyboard, if your Nautilus, your Kronos, your Triton, if they are on the global MIDI channel, you're gonna have to, if they're on the global MIDI channel, you cannot select that MIDI channel to send program change information to another keyboard. So I'm on global MIDI channel 1, so that means I'm going to try to send the information on a separate MIDI channel. So what I want to do is, if you look on the page button again, so right here it says the MIDI channel is set to global. GCH stands for global MIDI channel. So I want to put that on channel, let's go channel 16. So we're going to put the MIDI channel that this information is being sent on MIDI channel 16. So since it's sending that information on MIDI channel 16, I'm going to put my other keyboard or my other module on that same exact channel. So I'm going to go to the M3 and I'm going to change it to MIDI channel 16. So I'm going to go to global, and then I'm going to go to page select, and then I'm going to go to MIDI, and then I'm going to put MIDI channel on 16. So now my M3 is receiving information on MIDI channel 16. Now that's not to say that you can't, I guess if you are playing the keyboard, you would also need to have this sending the key information on MIDI channel 16. So to do that, I would just need to select another track within my combi and put it on MIDI channel 16 as well, but I just won't put that one on EXT2. That one would just be on EXT. Put it on channel 16. And now I can also play notes from this keyboard and trigger notes inside the M3. All right, let's make sure that's working. Yep. So as you see, the meters and stuff start moving. I don't have audio connected to the M3 for this experiment, for this tutorial, just because we didn't need audio. I just wanted to be able to show you guys how it worked. So let's change that. Stop that from being sent. Okay, so we are sending information to that keyboard. All right, so something else that's very important to do before you can send or receive program and bank change information, there is a setting in the keyboard that you need to turn on so the keyboard knows that it's sending that information and or receiving. So for us, we're going to go to mode, we're going to go to global, and we're going to go to page, and we're going to go to MIDI. And right here in the top right corner, the MIDI filter, there are several choices for you to choose from, but the ones that you need to make sure are selected are enable program change, enable bank change, and enable combination change if you're going to be sending combination changes to the keyboard. So you want to make sure that these are, the checkbox is selected in these: enable program change, enable bank change, and or enable combination change. And then in the receiving keyboard, you also want to make sure that it's enabled there as well. So on the M3, we're going to go to global, and then we're going to go to the MIDI tab again. We're going to make sure that program and bank changes are enabled. So we're going to go to global, we're going to go to MIDI routing, and right here where it says MIDI filter, we're going to put enable program change, enable bank change. All right, so now everything is done in the keyboards so they can talk to each other. I'm going to go back to the MIDI page within our combination. We're going to go back to the timbre parameter screen, and of course we put in the bank select for MSB is 000 and the bank select LSB is 000. So I told you guys that's going to put us in bank IA, internal bank A on the M3. Those are the MS and LSB numbers to communicate there. All right, so from there we go back to the main screen, and right here at the top where you're normally the name of your sound would be, you're gonna click that, and when you click that space, it allows you to change the number there. That very top, so you see the MSB and LSB are these bottom two numbers, 0000000. That's the MSB and LSB number. But this top number is the program within that bank. And as you know, generally our MIDI information tells us we can go from 0 to 127 as far as our programs are concerned within a bank. So as I select these different numbers, you can see on the M3 that the numbers are changing. And you see we're also in internal bank A, INT bank A. So let's say, for example, if I wanted to select a sound that was in internal bank, let's say internal bank E. Well, internal bank E, it shows me online in this manual that the MSB number for internal bank E is 0 and the LSB number is 4. So I'll put 0 for MSB and 4 for LSB. And so now when I select the sound, now we're going to be in internal bank E. So when I move this cursor, it should automatically select the 11th patch, or patch 11, within internal bank E. So let's see if it works. You see, it changed from internal A to internal E, and it went to sound number 11. All right, and so that's in program mode. Now, what I have not figured out yet, I used to think that there was a way to change modes using MSB and LSB, but I have not been able to find that lately, and I could be wrong on that. So if you want to change to combi mode on the M3, you would just have, if you want these program changes to be making changes within your combis, you're going to go to combi mode. And now, just the same, let's say now I want to go to user bank C. Within combi mode, it's just, the user bank C is MSB 0 and the LSB is 9. So we're gonna go 0. We're gonna change this LSB number to 9. And now when we make a change, it should take us to patch number, whatever we select here, in user bank C within combi mode. So I'm just gonna go to one number up, gonna go to patch 12. It went to user bank B instead of user bank C. I'm not sure why I did that. Let's see, the LSB number here shows that should be number 9 should be bank C. So if I put it on 8, let's see what it does. So let's see what number 7 does. It's probably not gonna send anything. Yep. So this list that I'm looking for has the MSB and LSB numbers incorrect. 7 is probably a blank number. It should be 8 for MSB and LSB. MSB should be 0 and 8 should be LSB for user bank A. So, and this isn't like an official manual from Korg for the M3. This is something that I found online with the MSB and LSB numbers on them. But if you get the correct MSB and LSB numbers from your manufacturer, which, like I said, it may be in your Midi implementation chart with your keyboard documentation, the MSB and LSB numbers should work correctly. All right, guys. So I hope that makes sense. I tried to explain it in as easy a way as I could. And I tried to show you what I was doing at the same time. So if you follow those instructions, if you get the MSB and LSB numbers for your keyboard, for your module, and you insert those into your Nautilus, on whatever MIDI channel that other device is receiving information from, then it should be able to send the information directly to your other keyboard or sound module, and select the sounds for you, so you don't have to do it on each individual device on your own. All right, guys, so that is the quick and dirty version of setting up MSB and LSB numbers within your keyboard to send program and bank change information to an external MIDI device, be it keyboard or sound module. Don't forget, set the global channel in your keyboard to receive information on the same channel that you are sending from your master keyboard. Don't forget in both keyboards to select the receive or transmit bank and program information. You have to go in and make sure that is on, whether you're sending or receiving. It needs to be on in both machines. As long as the MIDI channels match up and you have the correct MSB and LSB numbers, everything should work perfectly. It should help you guys out a lot. You won't have to spend so much time between songs, between sets, selecting sounds, because your master keyboard will control it all. Hope this helps you guys. If you have any questions at all, if I need to make anything more clear, if I need to do a follow-up video to show anything more specifically that I missed out here, please let me know. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like the videos, share the videos, leave a comment, and hit the notification bell, as well as subscribe to the channel so you guys can stay up to date with all the information and new content that is coming from Majestic Studios. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a great day. Bye-bye.